the conversation we're having in the office, which is a pointer to the issue of why we are here today. One of the major things that is happening to us is a need to empower the youth around the church. And it's very important we do that. So, today, I will be speaking generally, but I'll be speaking more to the younger ones. Because that's the reason why we organize this program. It's supposed to be a youth program. Now, I need to, with a lot of thank Madam Nkoyo, because she first reached out to me to say that this event was going to hold, and she reached out to me through my wife. And ladies and gentlemen, we know when your wife asks you some things are impossible to say no to. And the circumstances she asked me, I couldn't have said no. Praise the Lord. And again, you know, God speaks to us in a different way. God speaks wonderfully. God can speak through anything to you. When I was told I was to talk at this event, I had the thought, what should I really speak about? And also my wife came to the rescue. Somehow I have in a journal where I've written something, and she has read a bit of it and said, no, that is what you should talk about. And the day Sister Nkoyo was at my house, she said, that is what you should talk about. And somehow I feel that is what I should talk about. Abi, I don't question my madam. Now, one of the ways God speaks with us is through circumstances. Through circumstances. God speaks to our fathers of faith. He spoke to them in different forms. Some of them he spoke to through fire. Abi? Moses was spoken through fire. Some was through donkey. He spoke to me through circumstances, which is the reason I'm going to base this discussion on. So I want you to learn from my circumstances on how God can push you. And I'll be sharing some of the principles I brought out. Okay? And somehow, out of it, I came some principles which I learned, which I will share with you. And I'm sure if you take those principles to heart, it transformed my life. I will assure you it's going to transform your life. In 2013, this story, Pastor knows it, and everybody in Christ Chapel knows it. I was sent to Lagos. Now, to me, I shouldn't have been sent to Lagos. I was trying to stand in the position of what was right. And then my then boss said that I was standing in a way, therefore she posted me to Lagos. And I was sad. I won't lie to you that I was not sad. I was very sad because I felt that, God, I was standing by the right position. Why should you allow this to happen to me? But I didn't know that God was trying to show me the path to my destiny. So, unfortunately, when I arrived in Lagos, I didn't even listen to God. I kept mumbling. I was angry. And some of us are going through circumstances today that God is actually talking to us, but we are not listening because we are murmuring. You know, when you are murmuring, your spirit is not quiet. You will hear God better when your spirit is at peace. So for a long time, for months, I was murmuring. I was asking God, why has this had to happen to me? Now, interestingly, one day I woke up, I was in Ibadan. I was just running around between Lagos and Ibadan, didn't know what to do. I was so confused. I woke up one day, I was hungry. Now, no food because I didn't have money. So, I was quiet to myself. What happened? I asked myself that question. How did I arrive at this point that I didn't have money to eat? Ladies and gentlemen, you saw all my qualifications at that time, I'm a chartered accountant. I'm a tax person. But I woke up one morning. There was no money in my account. Nowhere. And I was hungry. And in that moment, I called a lot of people. Somehow, everybody just gave me one story or the other. Even people did not believe me. You know, when you call people and tell them, at my age, at my level, you are hungry. There's no money to eat. They'll be like, Baba, how are you? Say another thing. So somehow, nobody gave me money. By the second day, I was quiet. I was not asking myself those questions, and God provided some answers to me. And immediately I got that answered, I said to myself, I can never be poor again. Those revelations that I went through in those 3 days of forced fasting is what I'm about to share with you today. Now, to start with, let's go to the book of Matthew 25-26. The book of Matthew says, when the disciples heard this, they were astonished and said, then who can be saved? Verse 26. And looking at them, Jesus said to them, with people, this is impossible. But with God, all things are possible. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be speaking to you today on a small message titled, with God, all things are possible. Now, if you have ever taken time to read chapter 19 of Matthew, I think that chapter, go back. No, back. Yeah. That chapter is a wonderful chapter. That chapter scores 3 important points in life. First part of that chapter was talking about divorce, Abi, where Jesus was explaining that you cannot divorce, right? And that chapter is what you normally say when we are getting married, Abi. For a man will leave his wife, Abi, will leave and join one, and 2 becomes 1. That means you can't separate again. The next part of that chapter was where Jesus was talking about the children are the heritage of the kingdom, Abi. And mostly, if you go to apostolic churches, that is where they read for you when they are doing child dedication. Right? The third part of that chapter is also very significant. It was even the opening that opened my eyes to it. Verse 26. There's a functioning word there called with. If you look at it carefully, it said, with people, it is possible. Now, if you read the New Translation Version, it says, with human beings, Abi, or they will say, with man, Abi. But he said, but with God, all things are possible. There is a functioning word there, with. I didn't read English language in university, but I did O-levels English. And I was told that whenever there's a word, there's a with in a word, in a sentence, it's a preposition, right? It joins 2 nouns. It doesn't join, it joins 2 nouns. Meaning that there's a noun missing in this, Abi? There's a noun missing in it. Now, what is missing in it? It is you. It is you. It means that you and God, with you and God, nothing is impossible. You and God, nothing is impossible. Meaning that the first thing you have to do is to go into a partnership with God. Now, so I want you to do something. If you have a sheet of paper, if you're taking note anywhere, I want you to write your name with God, just in front of that thing that said, with God, everything. Put your name there. Like me, my name is Bayode. With God, nothing is impossible. Now, once we have agreed that, have we agreed that once you go with God, nothing is impossible? Once we have agreed that, now it's assumed, and we assume that you have gone into partnership with God. Now, in any partnership, like in any marriage, there is always the reason for you guys to assess analysis. Please go forward. That's why the activity I wanted us to go, the next place. There's always a reason for you to do what we call SWOT analysis. I think I learned that in my management class. That's how you develop your strategy, Abi. How you want to do things for the future. You first need to know where you are to plan for where you are going to go, right? So in this union, I don't think we can analyze God's strength. Can we? Can we analyze God's strength? God's strength is in, we can't analyze it. Does God have any weakness? So in this particular union, we should analyze ourselves. So this was the point I got into, that I saw to myself that I needed to agree on some things with God. So ladies and gentlemen, let's now come to the point where we are at this moment in life. This moment in this country is the best time to be an entrepreneur. This is a moment in time that is the best time to own a business. Why? There is unprecedented opportunity in the world right now. Why is that the opportunity? One of the things that we have today that has made opportunities very easy to catch is social media. Abi? Now, if you actually analyze it, you know, unfortunately, most of us use social media for personal use. However, if you critically analyze it, social media was meant for businesses, and it serves different purposes. Now, let's take, for example, Twitter. Twitter is actually what you can call a press release. Abi? Whenever you have anything, you quickly say it to people so that everybody will follow and say, this is happening to you. What is a Facebook? Facebook is actually a newsletter where you have 1,000 words to write what has happened or what you want to explain to people. You can't explain to people on Twitter, Abi? Just like you can't explain to people on news release. But you can explain to people on an editorial of what you want to do. YouTube is a TV channel. You know, those days, one of the things that we grew up with, that it was a big brand that had access to television, Abi? Now, you have access to your own television. There's podcasting. Podcasting is a radio program for you, which you can have for yourself. LinkedIn is for you to put in what you have done in the past to engage people for future. So you can see, harnessing the powers of these things instead of just posting. And Instagram is there. Instagram is like a gallery of things you are doing. But I see people just posting. I think it's the people that do beauty that you even be using Instagram the more. Do you understand? But I see people just posting anything on these medias. And I used to go with people that, I'm an employer of labor now. Before I employ you, one of the places I go to is a social media platform. I like to see the kind of person that you are, because it gives me an insight of your personality. I see the kind of things you posted there in the past, and I see the kind of people you associate with. And that will give me an understanding of the kind of person you are. Now, for you as a youth, because let me tell you something. I am not talking here today because I want you to get a job. I am talking because I want you to think of starting something, no matter how small it is. Because I went from one day waking up with no food to a year later employing people, because I changed some things. But right now, are there employment around? No, but there are opportunities around. Now, let me go back to the issue of the social media and what opportunities are there. Let me give myself an example. 3 years ago, I didn't know what programming was all about. 3 years ago. YouTube and I were friends for 6 months. Now I build websites. Because there's that opportunity. And I didn't pay anybody 1 naira. Yes, I was paying Smile unlimited 20,000 naira every month. And I had access to anywhere in the world to learn from anybody in the world how to make websites. And I'm building my own website for myself. What did I even... That was also an experience because I was supposed to build the website and I called a young man to build the website for me in Lagos and he said he would charge me 400,000. And I said, what? What are you going to do? He said I should bring the content, I should bring everything. Then what is your own job? Then I got angry. I said, no. I mean, I need to learn this thing. If it's 400,000, I need to learn this thing. And that's how I learned it. A month, I was able to build mine. So, it's unprecedented opportunity. Now, I can give you instances to encourage you. How many of you know Wole Arole? That young man that is always doing Bagbara. He started on Instagram. Posting all those. Now, till now, Wole Arole doesn't have any big studio. It's only mobile phone. You see him always holding it up to today, Abi? He still holds it up and he still does the same thing. But I can tell you, because I'm in entertainment industry, I can tell you like how much nets in a year now. There are a lot of things. Selling films is easy now, Abi? You can put your film on YouTube. You can put it on Vimeo. It's easy. Therefore, what we need to do is to take advantage of these opportunities. So, number one is that we are in a time of great opportunities. But also, we are also in a time of great competition. We are also in a time of great competition. Meaning that if you think your idea is unique, gone are those days. Because these days, if you even open a dry cleaning shop in Lokogoma, the dry cleaning shop that is contesting with you is not in Lokogoma, right? It's in Wusetu. Why? Because we have Google. Abi? Because of Google, I can check the price of a dry cleaner here and a dry cleaner in Wusetu and check which one pays me and go there. Before now, I was stuck with the guy in Wusetu. Let me give you another instance. I wanted to do a logo. I approached a young man and he told me it was going to cost me 20,000 naira to do a logo for my business. I came back because again, I didn't have the 20,000. I needed to find a way of doing it. I came back, I researched. I saw free softwares that do logo, but I also saw there's a website called Fiverr. I don't know if you heard of it before. Fiverr is a website where people everywhere in the world, across the world, offer their service for minimum of $5. All you just need to do is to post there what you want to do, and people will bid all over the world. So I got my logo done by somebody in America for $5, which, if you bring it down, that's about 2,000 naira, right? Even at this rate, is at 2,000 naira. That person lost, the person is around my area in Lagos, but lost to somebody that I've never seen in America. You can see how things have changed. The opportunities are here, but also the competition is fierce. Now, how do you now take advantage of these opportunities and be able to mitigate against this competition? Number one, you must understand the simple economic formula which we have refused to understand. People only pay for value you bring to the market. People only pay for value you bring to the market. If you don't have any value you are bringing, people won't pay. So, it means that you need to add value to people. I mean, Jesus Christ went around doing what? He went around doing good. That is, he was adding value to people as he went around. So what value can you add? And this is very instructive. Like I said earlier, I have a small practice, but I have people I've engaged both in Lagos, and when I moved back to Abuja, I needed to get an office in Area 11 to engage people. And when people come to me, they will tell me they want to collect 60,000, 70,000. What can you do? They tell me they are graduates. Being a graduate is no value again. I need to tell you that for a fact. Telling me that you're a graduate is of no value to me. My business is cloud accounting. Do you understand what I do? The minimum you need now, you must know how to use Microsoft Office, Abi. Most people put it on their CV. It's of no value because I don't believe that you are a graduate and you can't use Microsoft Office. Telling me this is redundant. Telling me you can use it is redundant. Are you understanding what I'm saying? What value do you have? You are going to university. What value can you add to a business, assuming you want me to employ you? But most importantly, what value can you add to this universe? God has put us here. There's a reason. If you are not adding value to this planet, you are occupying space. I'm one of those people that believe some things prayer cannot do. I'm sorry, but that is me. I grew up in a very Christian family. We pray morning and night. But there are things I have come to realization. It takes you to do it. No prayer. So what value are you adding? If you don't have any value you want to add to the universe, somehow universe will not give you what you need because you are still going to waste it. I don't know if I've ever noticed that anytime you have a good plan, something will happen that will make that plan to fruition. Have you ever noticed it? When you have a good plan, something will happen. Immediately I decided that I wanted to do this. Things fell into place everywhere. Are you understanding me? God will help everybody as far as you have good intentions. Now, again, most times when I'm talking to startups, I ask them, why did you start your business? They tell me, I want to make money. That is not a good reason to start a business. When Microsoft Office was started, Windows was started, it was to help people. Are you understanding me? Why do we have iPod? When Steve Jobs thought of iPad and iPod was to make things convenient for people. If you ever in your mind think how to make people's life more convenient, you make money. But if you put the money first, funniest thing, you won't get anything and you won't make that money. So, what am I saying? Number one is that you must add value. And I told you that at a point I woke up and I was hungry, Abi, and I called friends. There was no value I was going to add to them now. So why would they give me money? Why? Those set of people, when I started my accounting practice, and I called them to say, this is what you are doing, this is what my firm could do for you, they patronized me. I didn't ask them for money, Gabi. I told them the value I was going to add to them. One day, somehow I'm always waking early, but when I'm leaving, I'm always rushing. One young boy along my street, I think he has noticed me. My car is always dirty. I would drive out and go and wash along the road. I think the guy just saw it that this guy is a market. He came and knocked the gate, and when I got outside, he told me I wash car. I instantly knew I needed somebody that would be coming to the house to wash car, because sometimes when I'm even driving out, I'm late. I don't wait to wash the car. I get to the office, okay, your car is dirty. I will laugh. So this guy, we agreed, come and be washing my car. Is that not value to me? I needed it. I have an uncle. That my uncle can never give you 1,000 naira. Can never. No matter what you tell him, he will never. But he goes to dry cleaner, doesn't he? Won't he pay the dry cleaner? He has to. Because he sees the value the dry cleaner is bringing to the market. So what value are you bringing to the market? We're going to talk about later. Secondly, we're talking of how you can take advantage of your opportunity. and mitigates the challenges, Abi, and the competition. You need more than one skill. You need more than one skill. That's why I said that telling me you're a graduate is of no relevance to me anymore. I'm an accountant. Every time I add a skill to myself, instantly I see the value in the market. When I became a cloud accountant, immediately I got clients. When I started teaching people on business management, I think my first lecture was even in Christ Chapel. I think you understand, remember that lecture, sir? That was my first lecture of business. And over time, I've given several of it. Immediately I added that to it, income came. Because people saw the need to pay for me for it. When I started integrating cloud businesses to local businesses, money came. Because people needed this. So, you need more than one skill. You need more than one skill. You're a graduate. Being graduate is not a skill, you know. I've met graduates that cannot even market. Now, if you want to become an entrepreneur, the skills you need are a lot. You need to know how to sell, right? You need to know how to market. You need to know accounting. You need to know finance. You need to know human resources. You need to know how to negotiate. You need to know how to present. These are different skills that you can have. How many of those skills have you taken time to ever develop? How many? So, I want you to be taking this and be pondering over it as we rush along. Now, one of the most important things, having built your skills, necessary skills, and you have brought value, for you to take advantage, you must develop a very strong personal philosophy. Is a faulty philosophy that will make you say you stand after church to beg somebody. You must develop the philosophy that I want to do X, Y, Z. How do you develop philosophies? Number one, you need to learn from failures. Failure is good. Failure means to me, you are attempting something. That is why, if you are coming to me, you are 55 years old, and you say this is your first business, I will say, what have you been doing all the while? Try something. Open a shop before you migrate into a business. Ladies and gentlemen, there's different. One of the lectures I give is the difference between shop and a business. How many of you know the difference between a shop and a business? A shop, you don't need to think. What you need is capital. Abi? Somebody opens a pure water business near you. You get pastor to give you 1,000 naira. You open a pure water business next to you. If it closes in 2 months' time, you close it and do another one. That is a shop. A business is the one that you know that I want to do this thing for the next 5 years. Therefore, you start looking at how this business can survive. Therefore, you start bringing all the principles together to check. Oh, I made this mistake. How did I market this man that did not buy what I want? Am I properly located? Should I change my location? How much do I even need for this business? Then when you start thinking strategically in that manner, you have changed from having a shop to a business. Ladies and gentlemen, 90% of the things you call businesses around are actually shops. Some, yes, they are doing well, but they are not planned to do well. They are not planned to do well. And I used to give an instance. Before ShopRite came to Nigeria, did you ever know we could scale up supermarkets? ShopRite is a supermarket, Abi. We never knew we could scale up supermarkets. Because the Indians, the Pakistani, Lebanese, South Africans, they have one thing in common. They will build a system and a process before building the shop. Nigerians, we will just start and say, God will put it in your hands. And God is saying, it is me and you. I've done my part. I provided for you. I've kept your life. Can you do that yourself? God has done all that. You do the one within your purview. You are still shifting the blame again to God. So, learn from failures. How many of you have read Acres of Diamond? Was a Conwell. How many youths have you read it before? Acres of Diamond? I think Secretariat, we are getting everybody's email, Abby. We are getting everybody's email. Okay, I'm going to get everybody's mail. Any book I mentioned today, I'll get a PDF I'm sending to everybody. It's important that we read some of these books. Thank you, sir. So, because reading, you must make it as part of your culture. Now, there's a book called Acres of Diamond. Russell Conwell. It's a very old book. If you listen to some of the fathers of the faith in recent time, they will have mentioned it one way or the other. Now, what is that book talking about? That there's an African a man. He saw, there was a time when people were coming to Africa to mine gold, to mine all those things, Abi. And this man had a big farmland, and he heard that people were mining diamond in another country. So he sold his land to another man and migrated to that other country to start looking for diamond. He tilled, he could not find diamond. As the story went, he jumped to a river and killed himself. Having lost everything, you understand? He could not come back to his place. He had sold his land and he died. Whereas this other man kept tilling that same ground. In 15 years, he found out that land was actually filled with diamonds because he kept tilling the same land. What is the essence of that story? It means that, number one, I am not one of those people that believe Nigeria is not good. You have to change that mentality. Every time I'm going abroad, we are blacks filling the plane. When I'm coming back, a lot of whites are sitting with me. In fact, there was a trip I was coming back. I sat beside one man. He's a Arabish Englishman from UK. And we just stayed all the way to Nigeria. He said he does not understand what Nigerians are doing in the UK. So, number one is that Nigeria, if you change your personal philosophy about, you'll be able to see opportunities. One of the lectures I've listened to from Sadab Adeyemi, I don't know how many of you listen to audiobooks. I listen to a lot of preaching from a lot of our fathers in the Lord. And he said that he came from Ilorin to Lagos. When he set foot in Lagos, he found that Lagos had 10 million people. 10 million people means that they will all take their bath. Abi? They will need soap. They will need water. They will need toothpaste. They will need clothes. They will need clean clothes. They will need clean shoes. How many people are you selling to in that 10 million? How many? What are you able to sell to anybody? You have to design to sell something. So, you must learn from failure. Failure means that you've tried. You must also learn from other people's failure. You know what they say? Unfortunately, we don't allow people that have failed to give us lectures, Abi? But it would have been a good lecture for you to see somebody and say, how did you get to these points? I don't know how many of you have uncles, aunts, that they are not doing well. Have you ever sat down with them? Have you ever observed? Sometimes you will know why they are not doing well if you are careful. You will see. Because failures has some traits. The same way that success leaves traits. Success leaves clue. Success involves hard work. Don't anybody tell you any other thing about it. Success involves a lot of hard work. Now, you can also learn from other people's success. And that's why we do testimony in church, Abi. When we do testimony, the reason is so that you are bold to say, oh, this happened to this man, it can also happen to me. And one of the parts I like in the Bible is that one that says, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So, you need to change your personal philosophy. 2, you need to develop a very good attitude. A very good attitude. The personal philosophy will set yourself where you are going to go. But to arrive at that destination, you need a very good attitude. Attitudes are very emotional. That's why things will happen. People they lose their track. Now, it's important you have a good attitude about your past. You did not fail in the past. You learned some lessons, Abi? You had some experience. But don't let those experiences become baggages to you. Your past is just a mentor. The most important is your attitude towards the future. Because your attitude towards the future will give you inspiration. And what you need for inspiration is the reason. Why do you do this? And that's why I told you, if you are thinking of just saying money is the reason why you are doing business, it's wrong. Now, for you to go to the future, there are key issues you must agree. You must set goals. You must set goals for the future. What do you see yourself to be in the next 5 years? I've seen myself, I've agreed to myself where I will be in the next 5 years. However, take time to write those goals down. I tell people that when people come to me to write business plan, I don't write business plan anymore. Because I tell them that you writing it yourself, there is a mental in this through it. It becomes clearer to you, and your spirit man becomes attached to that goal. There is nothing that you are going to write down that you want to achieve. That when you go back to that diary, you will find out that most of those things you have achieved it. So, set those goals, take time to write them out, and set plans to achieve them. If you have goals, if you don't plan to achieve them, they are just dreams. Take plan to achieve them. Planning to achieve them involves activities. And every time you do those activities, they help you become bold. And they tell you you are on the right track. Because another thing you need for the future is to constantly review where you are. Constantly review where you are. Another issue that you need to take care in the attitude is your attitude towards other people. Your attitude towards other people determines your social network and your career network. And if you are going to be a business person, it's important that you build a good network, because the first people that will patronize you in your business is the people that you have network with. And they will be the people that will tell other people about what you are doing. Now, most importantly, is your attitude towards yourself. Attitude towards yourself. How do you feel about yourself? Are you confident about yourself? And I think you should, because we said that you've gone into a partnership with God, Abi. It is with God that you have. Anybody with God is a majority, Abi. Therefore, you should have confidence in yourself. But confidence is also built by past experiences, Abi. If you read the story of David and Goliath, When David got there and said he can fight Goliath, do you know what bold him when Saul was talking to him and telling him that you are just a child? He remembered that he has killed bears before, Abi. He has killed lions before. When he was trying to save his father's sheep. Therefore, he's bolding because he has done some things. If it was his first time of encountering danger, he would be afraid. And look at what Saul was telling him what happens to us every day. People tell us we are not fit to do some things. They told him that because Goliath has been fighting since his youth, Abi, therefore you can't. Tell yourself you can do everything through Christ that strengthens you. There is nothing impossible. In fact, one of the things, quote I like that Muhammad Ali said, is that impossibility is a word thrown around by small people. Are you a small person? Is your God that small that you don't have plans, you don't have dreams? It's important that you plan this life. We cannot build this building without having a sketch. But this building is not as important as your life. But somehow, people go through their life without even having a plan for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure our conversation will be once in a while. So, I would like to close with this. I have told you the opportunities that are abound in the world today, and I have told you some of the issues you need to contend with. But I want you to understand that your philosophy of life has a high level of determining where you are going to end up in the next 5 years, 10 years of your life. Decide today that you are going to do something to add value to another person. Even if all you have to do is to plan to employ one person. Plan to employ just one person. For you to plan to employ one person means that you need to start thinking of what you are going to do for people to pay for your service. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.